Hello, it's the Toaster Party, and today I'm bringing you Budget Sky Striker. So, Widowmaker was just put to 3, so I decided, with some recommendation, that I should put together Budget Sky Striker. So there's one major problem with building Sky Striker on a budget. You don't get access to, well, access code. But due to a lot of the reprints in the 2020 Megaton, there is still a way to make a competent Sky Striker list without having to burn a hole in your pocket on buying an access code talker. Well, without further ado, let's get on to the list. We have Toon Cyber Dragon, which is part of the going second plan. If you are going second and your opponent has a card in the extra monster zone, you can activate Toon Table of Contents into Toon Table of Contents into Toon Table of Contents to search up the Toon Cyber Dragon, which lets you go into the Chimeratech Mega Fleet, which then you can use another additional monster, Sky Striker monster, to go into the Sky Striker Exeek and then just go back into your regular Sky Striker cards. We have 3 copies of Ray, because this is Sky Striker and you can run no less than 3. 2 copies of Rose, the one that's just kind of okay, but it's another way to get into the extra deck, so honestly it's necessary. Sadly, it's still a very expensive card at being about $8 a pop, being, I think, the most expensive card actually in the deck. We also have 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, which is just a very solid card to be running this format, because hand trapping a Helga Fibrax, because those are still running around, or an Isolde is very good. We also have 2 copies of the DD Crow, which is another sort of good hand trap. It's just another one that can be fit in on the budget because we cannot run Gamma and Driver in this list very competently, because trying to make monsters in the Sky Striker deck can sometimes backfire on you. We also have 3 copies of Effect Veiler just because we need to be running a good amount of hand traps. Because we are running a good amount of going second cards, but we also need to be running enough hand traps that we hopefully open at least one against any opponent, so that we can be able to break up the board enough so that they don't create something that's unbreakable when we actually go into our board breaking pieces. We have 1 copy of Jamming Waves in the main, because there's quite a few back row decks still out there. And the non-targeting destruction is also very solid. We also have 1 copy of Reinforcements of the Army. It searches up any of our Sky Striker monsters. 1 copy of Upstart Goblin, just a free card to toss in the graveyard to keep up our spell count. Terraforming, because we're running both Mystic Mine and the Airspace Zero. Plus, it also gets itself thrown into the graveyard. As I said, 3 copies of Toon Table of Contents. Very easy way to get into 3 spells in graveyard, even if you don't need the Cyber Dragon to be played out. Sometimes just activating Toon Table of Contents and just filling up to your 3 spot is just a really nice place to be if you want to set up for going first even. We also have 2 copies of Afterburners. Having the ability to pop a monster on the field is very solid, as well as the back row ability that can come up in certain matchups. 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone, because Eldritch is still a thing. 1 copy of Eagle Booster. Eagle Booster is kind of okay this format. It's just, compared to what everyone else is trying to do right now, it's just kind of middling. So just running 1 copy of that. 3 copies of Shark Cannon. This is a very solid card this format, especially if you're going first, because it's just an additional copy of DD Crow, and sometimes even better. We also have 1 copy of Hornet Drones, because we have to make our Sky Striker monsters. We also have Double or Nothing. Yes, we are on Double or Nothing. Because we do not have access code, we have to have access to an OTK through Utopia and Utopia Double. 3 copies of Widowmaker. Man, this card is powerful. Effect Veiler on the front and stealing your opponent's stuff on the back. We also have the 1 copy multi-roll, because we have this card that can allow us to extend for a very long period of time. Speaking of extending, because our list has to be a bit more resource managey than the versions that can run access code talker, we're on 1 copy of the Hercules base. On 2 copies of Area Zero, because we can search it and just drawing it is also a very good way to get into this card, but the list was a bit tight to be able to put 3 copies in. Maybe you could cut the Eagle booster for the Area Zero. Because so far in testing, this card has not come up. Everything else has, just not this. And then finally, one copy of the main board Mystic Mine. Because make Hayate, your opponent has more than one monster, go ping, ping, ping. Yeah, this card is just a bit insane in the deck that it only wants to have one monster, so your opponent's never really going to be the one benefiting from this. Unless you're playing Mystic Mine, then they're laughing at you. But you still have plenty of ways to remove the copy of Mystic Mine in your main deck. On to the extra, the one copy of Chimeratech Mega Fleet, helping you to clear your opponent's extra zone. The copy of Utopia and Utopia Double, made for the OTK. One copy of Topologic Bomber Dragon, hasn't come up in testing yet, but it's just a good generic Link 4 to be able to make if you're somehow stuck with a board of, say, Zeke and opposing Link 2 off of a Widow Anchor. It's probably one of the best ones that you can make into your extra monster zone because it Raigekis the main monster zones. Well, technically it's a dark hole. And because you don't really need monsters in your main monster zone, so this one's just kind of one of the best Link 4s to shove in here. One copy of Zeke. Wish the extra deck space was a little less tight, or I might want to run 2 of this. If I never run into a situation where I need Topologic Bomber Dragon, I might just bump this up to 2. Because I have had scenarios where I wanted 2 of these. Because the ability to link off your opponent's monsters with the Widow Anchor into using one of your other ones into Zeke is just very nice to have. And just being able to clear your monster zones after trying to attack with the random Sky Striker monster that might end up on your field is just really good. We also have 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods on a Gaga Cowboy for game. This card brings back bad memories. Very bad memories. I don't think there is a single card I have lost to more every single time it was in time than Sky Striker Hayate. Just like this card is insanely powerful, being able to foolish any of your cards to bring back with Kagari the next, or after you go into main phase 2. 1 copy of Kaina, because sometimes it matters. 3 copies of Kagari, the one that was limited for a reason, because being able to keep looping all of your spell or Sky Striker spells by being able to summon this card out repeatedly is very strong. And finally, the 3 copies of Shizuku, because being able to search on after being able to pitch one, add that one back, and then add another is really good when you're trying to outgrind any opponent, and when you're going +2 at on any given turn, maybe +3 in any given turn, just like an insanely powerful engine. And finally, the side deck. More copies of Jamming Waves, because Eldritch is still a thing. 2 copies of Twin Twisters, because Eldritch is still a thing. Set Rotation to play your Mystic Mines, or the Area Space Zero in case you need it. 1 copy of Heavy Storm Duster. This is in here just in case your opponent, or is just like an additional Twin Twisters, but sometimes if you're playing a very heavy control deck, you don't really need your battle phase, and it's just a bit better than the Twin Twisters. It also breaks Imperial Order, if that ever comes up. 1 copy of Metaverse, because Mystic Mine is in the side. 3 copies of There Can Only Be One, which is a very good card to side into, again, certain combo decks when you're going first. And speaking of going first, 3 copies of Solemn Judgment, sort of for the same reason that True Draco needs it, because Lightning Storm and now Harpy's Feather Duster are cards that can just completely blow you out. So you want to be able to flip this up in case your opponent's trying to remove everything you own. Also, think about it, there's also Evenly Matched. So this card is just a good safeguard against your opponent trying to wreck your day by just playing 1 card and then calling it a game. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. Should be uploading the replay soon. Hope you have a great day. Also, I hope you enjoyed my new microphone. Hopefully you can't hear as much background noise now. Well, bye.